That was never an issue.
Yeah, it would be a for sure headache then. There's pressure and there's sinus.
It's never been sinus.
Sinus headaches suck.
Yeah. So this is everybody today. Yo. Oh, Rez is running late. That's right. He told me he had family stuff getting in the way.
Good God Almighty, Rin. That is side quest city.
Yep, it sure is.
I'm liking all the side quests, but I'm just like I'm so far off track now.
I have no issue with them because they're fun and slightly engaging. I just have no idea if I'm finishing the story. You have no idea what's connected to the story because it takes you off in totally different directions. And
I figure the story has to do with the old god shenaniganery with House,
but then on another end there's the horde.
The horde attacks,
and it's like, oh, this is obviously part of it too.
And then there's like honeymancy going on also.
That was cool.
That's a side quest, and I loved every second of that.
That was a cool one. I liked that.
Especially since I captured a pet.
I love it, but it is so weird.
Well, it's not that weird. I've seen elementals before.
Well, no, I mean, like, just the zone structure of, like, there's some horde over here, and then there's the old gods, and then there's a bunch of, remember Quillbore guys? We brought them back, and then there's bees.
Oh, yeah, and also saving Stormsong for last, I feel...
It's probably
one I feel like I forgot about the horde. I'm like, what are these guys doing here? They haven't been anywhere until now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only, like, that city and then, like, one other area.
And then Quillbores. Lots of Quillbores.
Ugh, the Quillbores. They were the worst. Hi, stream. We're talking Battle for Azeroth.
Actually...
Oh, yeah, it's well past time now.
Let me actually log on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 5:30, man. My dude.
But yeah, I take a Butylbitol every 4 hours. They take anti-nausea pill every 6. And yesterday the Butylbitol was knocking me unconscious, but now I guess my body's adjusted to it, and it's fine.
How are you feeling while on the meds?
Fucking fine. It's just, I know it's still there because whenever I cough, my head flares up.
I'm telling you, you gotta eat or masturbate.
I'm telling you, fapping makes it worse.
Hey, this is quality.
Also, we're live on
content.
stream, Shay. Stop it.
What? It's true.
It's never stopped her. Anywho.
Look, I know I'm truly sick when I can't fap.
Anywho, hi folks. Welcome back.
Hello, stream.
to our very 19th episode of Forest for the Trees. Oh, this is super dramatic. This is probably a little more dramatic than I wanted.
We need like an opening
something
theme.
else. We do.
I like that song though.
That was nice. It was just a little more dramatic than what I was hoping for.
We just finished a combat and we're all crippled.
I just wanted nice, soft ambient music. I didn't really want rockin' up tempo. Yeah, but also I don't want to get the copyright flags for anything that might be published music. What about this? Play. That's a little foresty.
Ooh, I love Celtic.
Yeah. All right. So, welcome back.
Totally playing this on their pan food. I'm sorry.
It's okay. All right. I'm going to turn the recording on now, so please no coughing, talks of masturbation, or what Frost had for dinner. So here we go.
No promises whatsoever.
Oh my god, it never fails. Corey. Okay, I'm actually turning it on. I don't need a response. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Hi everyone, welcome back to Forest for the Trees. I am the giggling DM who's laughing at things that you weren't aware of. This is our very 19th episode of Forest for the Trees, and after missing a week, boy, isn't it great to be back. I am, of course, the Dungeon Master, Rindis, and my players, who are... Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
My name is Shay, and I am playing the Elfin Bard, Lee.
Hi, my name is Corey. I'm sick. Again. I think I was sick last week too. And I'm playing Sky, the ever-loving, crazy halfling barbarian.
Hello, I'm Frost, and I'm playing Lord Braden Weatherfree, the hilariously surly halfling lord.
And, of course, Rez will be joining us once they get back from whatever it is they're doing with their family. And as we discussed on Curse of Strahd, Morph is going to be out indefinitely until he gets his hospital situation figured out. We don't know when he'll be back, so I just have Tula, as well as his character in Curse of Strahd, just in forever limbo until we know for sure he'll be back. So yeah, no questions about what happened to the turtle. He's not dead, he's just off handling turtle stuff. So, last where we left our heroes, you all had finally decided to hammer out the details of what the Stillwater renovations would be. You went ahead and put down some money to secure some more town guard to keep the place safe while you are gone, because Lord Braden Weatherfree had received an invitation to head to the capital and attend a royal ball headed by House Rahl. Along the way, you started seeing signs that the armistice may not be intact anymore, as a road caravan had been waylaid by signs of Saint soldiers. You guys decided to follow the tracks deeper into the forest, where you discovered that, in fact, members of Death Watch and Wood Elf soldiers were holding a number of humans captive. A fight broke out where you guys tore your way through the forest to reach them, and you managed to stop the Death Watch sorcerer from transforming both captured groups into shambling mounds, although one group was lost and turned into a horrible forest monstrosity. Many of the elves were able to make a tactical withdrawal, firing arrows and trying to execute the remaining prisoners on the way out, but you were able to rout them and secure any of the dying citizens before things were too late. And that's where we pick up now, with you all slowly reconvening around the captured guards and the injured child. You all have been very battered and bruised, but you survived.
So, that guy who is bleeding out is stable right now?
Yes, you guys stabilize the boy.
Sky just falls over.
What about this guy? Is he stable?
I don't think anyone tried to stabilize him.
I will try to stabilize him.
Okay.
And I'm kind of giving the guy in the armor kind of a annoyed look.
Okay. Yeah, you're able to quickly tend to him. The arrow didn't sink too deeply, so you're able to dress it and apply pressure to the wound to keep him from bleeding out into the grass. Toby and Aranu had spent some time gathering up the bodies of the Saint of Fate soldiers into a nice little pile here for you guys to look over as well. The knight gentleman here in the back, he's an older looking man. He has a well-kept graying salt and pepper beard, and his hair is receding about halfway back, so it looks like at one time he had a lot of hair in his youth, and just older age has started to take its toll on him, and he's starting to bald. But he doesn't look frail by any means. He looks like he's still a capable fighter, just one who's having to deal with the confines of age. And he's basically just hovering over the little lord here, And he's like, "My lord, are you all right?" And the child's like, "Yes, yes, of course. Don't worry so much, Cedric. I'm fine." And when you kneel down and look at him, he kind of shrinks back a bit, and he's like, "Why are elves fighting against elves here? I don't understand."
I hold up the dagger and cut his hands free.
And flinches visibly when you bring the dagger towards him, but once you cut it, he lets out a sigh of relief.
I was not expecting to go up against my own people.
But you did. Why? I don't understand why you would do something like that.
Sky stumbles to his feet to explain. This elf, along with everyone else, are members of the Adventuring Guild.
Oh, okay, that...
I intervened because what they were doing was wrong.
That too!
I suppose, and the knight kind of steps between the two of you again, and he's like, "Well, regardless, adventurers, thank you for stepping in and protecting my ward here. It's imperative that we reach Stillwater before nightfall. These roads have not become safe since Dusselheim fell."
I turn to Lord Brain.
Dusselheim.
Why Stillwater?
I hold my hand up. Dusselheim. Did it fall to a cult?
No, it fell to damned rebels. They call themselves the Children of the Verdant. Saint of Fate's sympathizers, really, and he kind of spits.
I am from the Cinepede. I've been striving to have a peaceful relationship between our peoples.
I bet. You'll forgive me if I'm skeptical, but the Saint of Fate were outfitting the Children of the Verdant when they attacked Dusselheim.
When he says he's skeptical, I reach up and pull one of the elven arrows out of my shoulder. And then just toss it aside. And then I'm gonna heal myself.
I'm going to cast Cure Wounds at level 2 for Sky.
I figured we'd just take a short rest. Why are you spending spells?
We don't know how long we'll be here before we rest.
I was making a point. Dramatic, okay?
She was trying to be dramatic, like, they shot me. It's like, yeah, but you attacked them, so...
Well, Sky attacked them.
Brayden attacked them, and then it started a chain reaction.
You all attacked them. Everyone has blood on their hands.
Well, I mean, I don't, but I was too far away.
I was holding back at first.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has blood on their hands. Sky mostly has his own.
My first thought was to try and talk them down, but some of us here are forged in war, and that did not happen. This here is Lord Braden. Then I gesture to Braden.
Kind of gives a little wave.
The knight looks to Braden. He's like, "You're Lord Weatherfree?" And he looks surprised at first, but then he remembers his formalities, and he steps forward and kneels down to give a bow. It only brings you to, eye height instead of, putting you at a position above him that is, expected from bowing. But you can see that he's, making the gesture nonetheless, and he's just like, "Oh, I had heard that you were a halfling, and, well, I just..."
He bows back, goes, "Don't worry, the stories are true. I'm a lot larger in person than, you heard."
Well,
Sky rolls his eyes.
It's uncommon for such a thing, so you can understand that it's a bit unbelievable to hear, but I've heard good things about you as well, my lord. So it's good to see that, especially that you were the ones to come to our aid when we needed it.
We had to go check out, make sure that everybody was okay, especially when we heard what was potentially going to happen there. Unfortunately, we seem to be way too late.
Well, it seems rumors are true about the Duchy of Weatherfree. Then it's one of the only safe havens left in Rallia, and considering that you're all still loyal to the kingdom, it's good.
I need to be sure that a full-scale war does not break out because of this.
And the knight looks back up as the guards kind of put themselves between the kid again. The knight looks back up and he says, "Are you joking? Did you not see what they were doing? What happened here? Of course,
That was Death Watch."
He kind of looks to Sky and then he's like, "Kick this one over here." He like gestures to the one there. And he's like, "That one, turn that one over for me real quick."
I look at Sky.
He turns him, and Sky does a hip, and he rolls over the wood elf. And he goes, "Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't Death Watch only for dark elves?"
I told you I interfered because what they were doing was wrong.
Yes, but it seems that other people have different ideas about whether we are going to war or not.
I am living proof that not all of us want a war.
Brayden's gonna kind of look over the wood elves and then all the dead dark elves, and well, this would be the time, wouldn't it? Raleigh is practically ready to have its own civil war. This would be the perfect time for them all to start taking out areas.
Yeah, pretty much. If only Sardonyx wasn't so against the Warforged independence.
We'll find her a comfortable enough one to stuff her in. It's okay.
The knight looks up as you two are talking about Warforged independence, and he's like, "I beg your pardon?"
Nothing. Don't worry about it.
It's a halfling thing. You know, halfling's a little weird.
It's like, all right, well, my lord, if it's all the same to you, I need to take what's left of my lord's entourage and head towards Stillwater.
It was the man that was caught up in that plant monstrosity.
And he looks to the boy, and then he looks to you, and he starts to say, he's like, "Oh, it was his father, Lord," and the kid finally chimes in. He's like, "That wasn't my father. You don't need to lie to them." And the knight kind of pauses, and it's like, "As you wish."
I cast,
was
as the boy starts to talk, I'm going to cast Prestidigitation on him just to clean up the P, so he has a little more dignity.
Right, had to remind everybody about the P.
I did.
Got the drink at the P.
I'm more concerned you remember that for 2 weeks.
Right? Yeah,
so detailed notes.
The kid gets cleaned up, and as he straightens up a little bit, and Knight nods his head and he says, "The man was one of my knights posing as his father while we traveled. It's not safe to say who he truly is. Just know that he's an important noble, and we're trying to get him as far away from the capital as possible until things blow over."
From Nussel?
No, from the capital.
"So, Mr. Knight," Sky says, walking forward,
Yeah.
"we have these invitations to attend a ball at the capital," he says, presenting one of the invitations. "How feasible would it be to actually attend? Or are we going to be walking into death?"
He kind of looks, and he, as you hold out it, he takes it and he unfurls it. He looks it over, and gestures to one of his other guards, and the guard looks at it, shakes his head, and he says, "Well, That signature looks authentic, but House Rawl's not going to be attending any balls anytime soon. Didn't you hear?
Yeah, we heard.
I'm very well aware of the situation. And then I looked to the boy and said, we will speak later, little lord. And then I turn and I'm going to start straightening out the bodies of all the elves and set them in respectable positions.
And
then I'm gonna go through their gear though and take anything important. I'm also gonna take all the guns.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So
and Toby's gonna help.
Through the handouts, I don't have a copy, or I don't see a copy at first glance of the letter for the ball itself. Do you still have that?
I don't think I made one. Did I make one?
I don't remember if you did or not.
I don't think I had made one. Letter.
That's fine. Can you just give me the rough gist of what it says? Like, is it signed by House Rawl?
I think I did write one, and I'm trying to see if I can find it too. Because there should have been something for you to read and keep on your person. 1 second.
Can I make notes of it? No. That's people.
I thought I had just wrote one out, and I can't find it either.
Letter of commendation, talking skulls of question answering, potion, loads of treasure.
Oh, maybe I just told you what it was, and I can't find something on it. Yeah. So basically, the letter had been a formal invitation at the behest of House Rawl to attend this ball, because of course Lord Weatherfree is the Duke of Weatherfree. Yeah. So. And it was written by the Guildmaster, or at least it was signed by the Guildmaster, not actually anyone from House Rawl.
Mm-hmm. But Sky, having just a little light bulb go off in his head, turns to Milord and says, "Well, as they say, Milord, we might want to escort these people back to Stillwater, since House Rawl doesn't exist anymore. And we can't be invited by House Rawl if House Rawl is all dead."
I've been thinking about that.
The guards kind of look at each other and nod.
Maybe
we'll get them.
We'll look into so.
We need to get them back and then look into why the guild would send an invite to that, unless they were trying to either get all the remaining people in power together for some reason, or trying to eliminate all the other people in power.
Or if it's the guild at all. Sky turns to
there's like
Lee.
People who are still loyal to House Rawl, even though they've fallen.
Sky turns to Lee. How adept are Death Watch at forgery?
Would I know that?
You can give me a history check.
Braden too.
Oh no, history.
Lee, you'd know that Death Watch is largely used, of course, for.
Holy shit!
Oh,
you're not an elf.
Yeah, he's not an elf, so it would have been at disadvantage, but there's still some information. Both of you know, more or less, hers would be a little more in-depth, but she rolled low, that basically Death Watch acts as an espionage branch. They're largely, the spy guild, the assassins. In the case of the war, they made up the backline special forces, the sharpshooters, saboteurs, things like that. So it's within their what's the word for it? It's like it's something that's definitely within their repertoire, and it wouldn't be unheard of for them to do something like that. It's within the realm of possibility that they very could, but there's no evidence. There's no evidence to suggest it, but it's definitely something they could do if you suspect it.
Yeah, Braden's just gonna kind of, strap his gun back, sigh heavily, and go.
Lee says nothing.
Braden just quietly mutters out after he puts his gun back. They could have killed everyone.
Or they could have infiltrated it, Sky says, now going off on wild speculation.
Well, if you were trying to destabilize
Sky.
stuff, you would probably want to kill the leaders of the areas, because then without leadership, it turns into chaos.
And impersonate them!
That's a little far-fetched.
Lee's right. It's a little far-fetched compared to just killing their leaders and then marching in when there's nobody in charge. So you're saying there's chances.
As this conversation is going on, and as I'm searching bodies over, I also rolled a 17 investigation, by the way. My ears are a little bit more drooped than normal. And I'm just kind of solemnly tending to the bodies.
While you're doing that, can I ask the DM if it would be okay if we could count this as a short rest?
Did you all want to take a short rest?
Sky does.
I was gonna heal Sky, but I mean, okay.
He yelled at you for that.
I did, because Sky has 65 fucking hit points.
My healing spirit could have helped you out.
Could have saved everyone. Alright, so on these bodies, Lee, as you're looking them over, between them, there's about 150 gold. The Death Watch soldiers, the four, had 4 necrotic attuned arc pistols. They also had their long swords, their basic armor. So there's probably five medium sets of armor, robes for the caster, his wand's not anything special, nothing fancy on him. But yeah, the pistols were what you guys were especially keen at looking at. So
I'm sorry, what else was there? I had to scroll down and find stuff to type.
150 gold, 4 necrotic attuned arc pistols. There's 5 sets of medium armor. I don't particularly care what kind, because it's like the wood elf would be in like the hide or whatever the light one is, and they're probably in chainmail for the sake of infiltrating. But it's all miscellaneous, non-magical stuff aside from the pistols.
Okay, so I'll just take the useful stuff.
Yeah, the stuff of import were these.
Got it.
Pistols.
And I tucked those away. Also, what proficiency do the arc pistols use?
Dex.
Brayden is technically the only one who gets a free proficiency to firearms. I would say if you have martial proficiency, you could use it.
Yay! Sky can use them.
Yeah, but
not that it does you much good.
They're military weapons, so
hey, I've got a 16 dex. I got this.
So you would need martial training with them, or you could it would be like martial, all like things fighters get, or rangers and stuff like that, or you could just do proficiency firearms.
I think I have proficiency in like longbows and short bows.
These are not longbows nor short bows.
Yeah, I'm trying to find out if I got crossbows. That's probably the closest thing to them.
Nope, they do not function the same way. Stat-wise, these are 30-60 for the range increments. They do 2d6 necrotic, and there's 3 shots to every reload.
2d6 plus dex, or just 2d6 straight up?
2d6 plus the dex. It's the ranged weapon, man.
Check it.
But yes, Shay, firearms and bows and crossbows do not function the same way. Yes, Toby could absolutely learn how to use a gun.
Yeah, spec Toby into gunslinger.
Give him a bandolier of guns.
Dye his hair white, give him glasses, and make him emo as fuck.
No.
Yeah, I have long sword, short bow, long bow, and...
Then you do not have the proficiency to use it.
God damn it. I'm probably the only one who would like to use it.
Bards just don't get to learn how to use guns. I mean, there's a feat that'll let you take some proficiencies for weapons, but you'd have to do so. Or you could train with it.
Don't worry, Braden will show you how to shoot guns.
Training montage. So, yeah, as you guys are kind of looking this stuff over, you take your hour to rest.
Hooray! I'm gonna roll a lot of hit dice.
Ghost dog.
1. Ooh, that helps.
Oh, I can also do hand crossbows, rapiers, and all simple weapons.
I'd count them as hand crossbows.
Nope. Firearms and hand crossbows do not function the same way. There is a significant kickback that is very different from a crossbow.
I tried, Shay.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. As someone who knows how to use firearms, they are not the same.
Okay, that's good enough.
Is it though?
That puts me at 51 out of 65.
Three death hags appear out of the forest. Toby is immediately dropped to 0 health.
These are sea hags.
Monster.
No, these are death hags, because you guys are much higher.
Don't ask Rob about sea hags.
Oh, we had to fight 3 sea hags yesterday.
Don't ask Rob about sea hags.
We had to do it, and Shay almost died. They did the death glare on her, and she went from full to 0.
I party wiped people with sea hags. Specifically Rob.
It's sea hags are bullshit, especially when you have to fight a full coven of them.
He needed a 2 to survive, and wouldn't you know it, his dice karma kicked in and he rolled a 1.
That sounds like him. So, after an hour, the night captain comes to you again, and he's like, well, we're going to get moving, I think. That's all right with you.
We'll escort you. After all, we're all under the employ of Lord Braden Weatherfree.
Says,
and then he looks over and goes, we came out to see if we could find out what they were doing, and seeing as how we're a little bit too late, we might as well go back and figure out a plan.
Once all the bodies are kind of like lined up and positioned in respectful poses, I just kind of do a little performance on my pan flute as just kind of because.
Okay. She toots, and it is beautiful.
Just to send their souls off, their spirits off.
You were heading north, though, weren't you?
We were, but apparently that part of the world is fucked right now.
We were on our way to make sure Dussel was safe. If you wouldn't mind, I think that we'd like to hear what happens there.
In Dusselheim. Sorry, I had people knocking. What was your question?
What happened in Dusselheim?
Yes. They attacked 2 nights ago. I can't say for certain how they got inside the city or if they were there already. Damn half-elves infiltrated, took out the main gates with weapons provided by the Death Watch and the Saint of Fate. It was an uprising, to say the least. They kicked out the Dussels, executed the Lord. I'm sure his body is still hanging there. But they claimed independence from Dussel, and were going to form their own province.
Do you have any idea why the half-elves would do that?
He
and I'm watching his expression very closely.
he looks very ashamed by the question, and he's like, I'm not from Dussel. I don't understand what they do there, even if they are part of Rawl. They had the largest half-elf population of any of us. You can understand that being one, they might have felt outcast. And Lord Dussel himself, the Lord Dussel himself had a daughter who was a half-elf, and yes, they crop the years. There's been debates over if such a thing is even considered humane.
Whoops.
I was like, Lee and Toby wander off. But you can see now that the idea is one that many people, especially the half-elf population, did not consider fair or just, and their anger mounted this rebellion against the Dussels. To be perfectly frank, the Dussels had turned their back on the alliance with House Rawl anyways, and were in the works of declaring their own independence from the nation. So they had what was coming to them, and they burned most of their bridges when they did so. It was just a safe place for us to be staying at the time.
So you were caught up in that whole affair?
We were caught up in some bad business, and I was able to get my lord here away before they figured out who he was.
And I look to the kid, and you are Lord of Ralia.
He nods. He's like, yes.
Do you
He's
have a name?
He shakes his head and he's like, I don't mean to still sound like I don't trust you, but you're still an elf of the Sainafate. He kind of looks over to Aranu as well. There's two of you, for that matter. He's like, Lord Aranu, Lord Braden, could I speak to you in private?
Sure. Hang on, guys.
Sky goes to follow.
Oh, no. He asked for privacy. Don't worry. I'm pretty sure I can run between most of their legs if they try something.
Yeah, but I'm like your knight? Question mark? Trusted advisor? I don't know what I am.
I'm
Anyways.
going to telepathically ask Lute to go, who's hiding in the trees, to go invisible, and I'm going to listen in on them.
Okay. Yeah, so him and the little the young lord here walk off a ways so that you guys can have a private conversation. And the knight who introduced himself as Cedric, he gestures to the boy again and he says, Lord Weatherfree, if the situation weren't so dire, I would be more forthcoming with his identity. But as it were, his life is in danger. The more we divulge information, especially out in public. This is Theodore Rawl, crown prince and heir to Ralia.
Just, this kind of solemn expression goes, I can definitely understand why you don't want a lot of public talk about it. And he looks to the young kid and he's like, I'm very sorry for what's happening around here.
He nods and Cedric again is just like, we were able to get him safely out of the castle once news of what was going on happened. A body double took his place very bravely. So they don't know that he's alive or that he holds a claim to the throne any longer. That's why we were trying to get to Stillwater in hopes of having a place for him to stay safely until such a time that we can regain enough supporters to restore order.
I can definitely understand that. And of course, you all are more than welcome into Stillwater.
This is very good. And the boy, he's probably no more than 12, 13. When he finally speaks up and he says, "Thank you, Lord Weatherfree. I appreciate your discretion and your hospitality. If there's anything that I can do for you once House Rawl is restored, you only need to name it when the time comes."
I very much appreciate that. Right now, this is all very new to me, as you both can imagine. Being a halfling in charge is not exactly something most aspire to, let alone have dropped in their lap.
And the two nod, and he's like, "Responsibility's been thrust upon both of us, it seems." And Sky is pacing.
He's walking in circles.
He looks over back at Sky and like, they're good people. Lee is
Maybe.
definitely a lot more trustworthy than most elves you could ever think of. Aaron News. And he pauses for a second and goes, "You don't really know a lot about him, but he seems like good people. He could have stabbed us in the back a dozen times by now, but he hasn't."
It's at this point that Aranu kind of leans against Lee, and he's like, "So, how you doing?" Sorry, I just had to keep that going. He's not here to do it himself, so I had to do it for him.
I just got shot by my own people. I'm
Whoa.
having a lot of mixed emotions right now. Aren't you from the Shadowfell?
It's like, technically, I suppose that's accurate. I just don't remember where I was before that, and he kind of finger crossbows at you.
Were you from the Cinefade, you think?
Probably.
You suspect?
That's the most logical conclusion.
What do you know about yourself?
Not a thing.
I stick him in the head and see if that jogs his memory.
It's like, ow, what? Why would you? And he's like rubbing his forehead.
Did that jog your memory?
No, I don't think it works that way.
How do you think it works? Maybe if I give you a coin, I take out a coin and I write my name on it and I flip it to him.
Maybe a kiss will help refresh my memory.
You mean like a symbol?
He kind of you see his ears wilt a bit.
I roll my eyes and I give him a kiss.
There you go. Sorry. I don't ever play people's characters, but Rez's Aranu is just that's basically it. It's not hard to play him. All right, so
Don't tell Rez.
Yeah, well, he would have been like, yeah, that's probably what I would have done. The camera pans back over to Brayden and the two, and the guard Cedric. He kind of nods and he's like, "Well, I think that's all. We really don't have much else to tell you or to share. It's just you should be on the lookout for any of these children of the Verdant. They might start making their way south."
I understand. Thank you very much for that. As soon as we heard word of potential things, we started shoring up defenses and the like, so hopefully it should be a little bit more well defended than most people would think Stillwater to be.
He kind of perks up a bit at that, and he's like, "Oh, good. How many fighting men do you have?"
He kind of starts counting on his hand a bit. Well, there wasn't a whole lot to begin with, because, you know, it was a small, quiet area, but we sent out to try and get at least, how many?
33.
3?
33.
Lotte was
33 more people there to help defend the town.
plus us.
Plus us. And he kind of, he's like, oh, Stillwater's small then. He kind of glances to Theodore, and he's like, no, that's fine. Small is inconspicuous. No one will notice us there, hopefully. He's like,
Yeah, the extra guards might draw a little attention, but given the turmoil going on, I'm sure they'll assume that it's just understandable. Everybody kind of, you know, getting themselves ready.
Why are you closing me in?
so you can't pace.
Oof.
But yes, it should be at least a little bit safer than any of the major areas, since Stillwater is a lot smaller than most of them, if not
Stop
the
it!
smallest.
I'm a halfling, screw you.
Good times. And he's like, well, I suppose if that's the plan, then we should make haste back to your town then.
Okay, and then when we get back, we can figure out a place for you guys to lay low and then start working on a plan of how to get a hold of everyone else and see if any other places have ended up in their own little civil strifes.
Does Lotte relay any of this information?
I'm sure she relayed everything.
Okay, so at the mention of Theodore Rawl, I kind of shift around a little bit. I do not recognize him from my vision, do I?
Nope.
Okay.
The only Rawl you knew about was the one you were gonna marry, which was Julius Rawl, his older brother.
Good old Orange Julius Rawl.
Yep. It's Sir Orange Julius.
In his illustrious food court.
The mighty food court, the queen of dairy.
The king of burgers.
Lord Sabro, or whatever you call the pizza place. Esparos, whatever. Fuck it, let's keep going.
Sabros.
Sabros?
Sabros. That's what I always call it.
I always called it Subaru because I know that was wrong.
That car pizza.
It is Sabro. It's Sbarro. Sabro,
Woo!
if you want to sponsor us, just feel free. Get in contact.
We will definitely not say no to pizza.
We will
Winks
definitely-
that camera.
We will definitely not say no to pizza. It's true.
I love your boardwalk style pizza. Please give me more.
Alright, so plan is absolutely to head back.
Mhm.
When Lord Braden comes back, Sky will actually be like, "My lord, I was thinking." And
Yeah.
Sky gets a stick.
Oh boy.
And he starts drawing on the ground, and he says, we could escort them back, but I just had a thought. As he draws like a line back to Stillwater. If we keep going north to Dussel, now, they say the town is overrun by, rebels. But my thoughts aren't really to the town, but to the town people. I wonder if we could save any of them rather than just going back to Stillwater.
There's ways to do that without running in and trying to start a conflict.
Lise, conflict has already started.
Brain wanders over and he's like, she's right.
You think that's a reason to not to try?
I'm not saying she's not wrong. I'm simply saying that conflict has already begun. Rebels rose and are now possibly abusing the citizens.
So when a fire is started, do you try to put it out, or do you try to spread it?
No, we try and smother it with a blanket.
You try to put it out.
By smothering it.
At this point, Aaron
violently.
At this point, Aaron chimes in and goes, sometimes it's okay for a forest fire to burn away the overgrowth that would otherwise choke and strangle the forest.
Aaron, I appreciate your insight, but you are not helping.
And he's like, yeah, I'll probably just stop. And he walks over this way.
The people who were the weeds of that place have probably all been killed at this point.
Every townfolk? Out of character. It's not like it's Rome or anything.
Well, but all the townfolk that probably aren't loyal have either been chased out or put down.
Rome shall burn.
Or being abused and worked as slaves as we speak.
Look, a little slavery never hurt everybody.
Look, the Lord, it just doesn't sit right with me. Knowing that these people...
You're making a lot of assumptions.
Of course I am!
Has Lord Weatherfree ever established his slavery policy?
No, freedom for all, especially Warforged.
So
anybody who's against it are put inside the Warforged as punishment.
Wow.
Sky.
Yes.
Sky. Instead of making these assumptions, why don't you ask the people who just came from Dessel?
I will do just that.
I turned to the people who just came from Dessel. So, what came of the people of that
You
town?
told me to ask!
It was a suggestion. You didn't take it when... You know what? Go on, you ask.
This guy looks so defeated. You know what? My brain is fog right now, the DM, so I'm just going to say foi, and that's going to be Sky asking, so foi.
I lean over and I whisper in his ear, what became of the people from Dessel? And then I pat him on the back to give him encouragement.
Yeah. Foi.
God damn it.
No, I'm high on painkillers. This is all I can manage right now.
They take a moment to decipher foi. And they're like, oh, I understand now. Cedric, the Knight Captain, he looks between Sky, and then he looks back to Lee and to Brayden, and he's like, well, the half-elf population there was probably only about 20%. But these were people who had been downtrodden for so long, but they were also people with families who weren't half-elves. I could tell you that it was a bloody rebellion, and that people died. We got out of there pretty quickly. I can't tell you what the state of the place is now, but when we were leaving, they were marching and they were killing anyone who was in their way. But as is the way of any violent rebellion.
What about those that did not get in their way?
I imagine those were family.
I'm sorry. It doesn't sit right with me. And I understand you don't want to hurt more of your people, but if it was my people doing this, I wouldn't hesitate.
First of all, I'm not a half-elf. Second of all,
you're
there's
part
ways
of them.
Yes. I am half of them. But I think there may be another way to handle that.
And how would you handle that?
By bolstering Stillwater at the same time. We make a make a note to possibly welcome any refugees. 20% of the population isn't going to be able to control all of them if there is any discontent between them. And the refugees can include humans, half-elves, elves.
Yeah, but you're asking me to abandon people to their own devices when surrounded by hostiles.
Braden puts his hand on Sky's shoulder to...
heard everything I said.
Braden puts his hand on Sky's shoulder to calm him down and be like, look, if we go now, especially with everything, you just saw what they did to tied up people. What would they do? What would they do to the population that they're barely tolerating?
I know. And Sky flies into a barbarian rage and just smashes a rock. I know. I just hate it. Okay.
I understand. Trust me, none of us like it. The only thing we can do right now is figure out a plan.
Everyone backed up.
Just the strangers who don't know you.
Sky, they're not going. With as few half-elves as there are, even 20%, they're not going to be able to politically control a population if there is discontent. If there are families, they're not going to harm their families. If we accept refugees, Stillwater gets its population bolstered. And then it gives these people a chance to leave.
Okay, Sky says, admitting defeat.
That's not a defeat.
He turns to Milord instead. Do we have enough food to feed all of them, though?
There's a lot of fucking farms around.
And also, DM, what season is it?
I think we asked this last time too.
It's been 2 weeks and I'm high. What season is it?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
I think it was
because it's been 2 weeks.
I think it was starting to get to autumn.
Yeah, I think it was. I think it was getting into autumn.
Okay, food for the population and refugees, I sense, may become a problem. It's why I'm asking these questions.
I mean, gosh, if I go up another level, then I can
cannot Goodberry the entire town.
Oh no, I was gonna do plant growth.
Oh, yeah, it's like no, you can't Goodberry everybody. You get a berry, and you get a berry. Come back for your berry rations.
It's like every single day I do this.
But yes,
day.
DM, now that we've RP'd this out, we're gonna escort them back to Stillwater.
Okay. And once I get on my horse, Lotte is going to go uninvisible from the trees and come and land on my shoulder.
And DM, please don't be that big of a dick and roll some hit dice for Aranu.
I totally will.
What? No, Aranu's dead. Don't worry about it.
Undead,
and
maybe.
Horse is a mimic. Oh wait, I poked my horse before getting onto it.
Aranu was the mimic the whole time.
No!
What was the knight captain's name?
In what regard? What captain?
This guy.
Cedric. It's a common name. Shut up.
Oof, I am getting hungry.
Well, you can eat that foot in your mouth.
Oh, nom 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 nom.
No, there's no foot in your mouth. I enjoyed this debate of ethics. Alright, so. Oop. For some reason, the sky wasn't even with everybody. That will not do. Alright, so you guys make your way back. Hey, he is totally not dead.
I don't have enough room.
Fail. Alright, so you guys, you backtrack, and it's a little bit of travel, very slow going now that your group is a bit larger and they've got to move carefully. But after the distance between you guys and Dusselheim, you were about halfway to Dusselheim when you got here. So it's probably about 2 days moving more slowly, having to consider that you don't want to be too obvious on the road and such. But before long, you make it back to Stillwater, and everything looks the way you left it. There's nothing wrong. Everybody's going about their business. It looks like a construction has started. There are like worker tents up around the castle perimeter. I'm gonna go ahead and delete that because it's just really obvious and obnoxious.
But I was
there's like a little work camp that's started to come up around the castle with masonry and stuff to show that they've begun work on the castle, and you guys had planned for a lot of this to be done while you were on the road. So it's like, it's like, oh no, we don't have anywhere to stay now. They've started laying out the groundwork. The merchants carrying in supplies and stuff have begun situating in the 3 or 4 days that you've been gone as a whole. And it's actually Sardonyx who's the first to greet you as you guys come back, since, of course, Brayden had given her a regency while you guys were gone. And
I run up and I give her a hug, and Lotte kind of gets like stuck between like both of us.
Oh, okay. And so yes.
AFK for 5 minutes. I gotta redose myself.
Sure. So she's picked up in this hug, and she's like, "Oh, you guys are back really, really faster than I thought. I hope nothing bad happened. You all don't look injured, and nobody's dead. And you have a new companion with you. Hello." And she waves to Aranu, and he's like, "What's up?" Finger crossbows at her as well.
Oh yes, that's Aranu. We met him in the Shadowfell.
You're collecting quite the harem.
I know.
Toby's like, "What's a harem?"
I give him a kiss.
And when she notices the guards and stuff coming up behind you, and she's like, "Oh, and you have more people with you. Who are what's going on? Something seems more serious."
It's a bit serious. Seems that Dussel has fallen to rebellion.
She's like, oh no. I mean, I guess they had it coming.
Yeah, I can't say I might not have done the same thing in their place, the half-elves. But, I was thinking that maybe we can open Stillwater to accept refugees. It really looks like there's a lot of work to be had here, and it would bolster Stillwater. Do you think that's a good idea?
Free labor. And she's like, and you see her, like, take out, like, a little abacus that has, like, lifesavers on it instead of beads, and she starts...
I love it.
She starts counting through it with the different colors and stuff, and she's like, current projections, considering the economic growth and the spacing available, along with crop yield coming in for the rest of the harvest, and she's, like, counting and stuff, and she's like, unless we open up trade to bring in some extra food, it might be a rough winter, but manageable. Oh, I'm like rotating the chat or the streams camera back and forth. Sorry about that. Just really antsy today.
If only I had taken plant growth.
And Braden looks over at Sky and goes, "How many of the halflings are versed in trade and things like that?"
Sky's away.
Oh, that's right, Doug. So random nobody I'm talking to.
Random guy with information. Do I have?
Well, we could find out how many of the halflings might know of trade and stuff, because if we open up trade, we could have their help in establishing connections and setting up things.
That's true, and getting rid of some of these halflings would definitely reduce the loss of food stockpiles. No offense, my lord, but an entire clan of halflings. You guys eat roughly about 3 times as much as any of the human citizens here. So we're.
Is that true?
Yeah, the unfortunate bane of furry-footed halflings and their locust-like devotion to food.
Yeah, that's why they're such good farmers and cooks, because they eat a lot. But the flip side of that is they're such good farmers that they produce a lot of food to match. And so it's just that you introduced a huge halfling population into a human farming community. So they only grew enough to supply humans. Yeah, but they're smaller with higher metabolism, so they eat a lot.
Braden wanders up a little bit. Sardonic starts looking around the town. Are there any more lands we could turn into farmlands if the halflings could start working? When the winter's over.
He knows these areas pretty good.
And she starts flicking around some more of the lifesaver counting coins, and she's like,
I
we
like
might
one
be.
of the lifesavers.
and she giggles. It tastes like pineapple, and she's like, was that a whoa or a ugh?
I said, oh, so good.
Oh, okay. I was like, how dare you insult pineapple? But she's kind of flicking, and she's like, there's some forest land that could be cleared. I don't think they're quite the hilly outcroppings or hilly meadows that you guys are used to up north, but this might still be good land for them to work on, my lord. If you think that the Moonstrides would be fine with that, I could definitely see how they feel about starting to land clear and build their own little. I don't want to make it sound like they have to build their own side community outside of town, but if a couple of them want to build farms and stuff, they could, have their own place.
I figured I'd ask Sky to talk to everybody about that, because if they like it, that gives them something to do, and then we can start producing more food, which we can trade some to get more money and things going here.
Yeah, absolutely. I can understand that.
I have a really neat idea. But I can't do it until I'm a little bit stronger in my magic. But maybe I can tap into my Fey magic to awaken some trees.
Do you like actual awakened spell on the trees?
Yeah.
That could be neat. She's like, well, okay. I'm not sure what that would do to help us, but that sounds fascinating.
I mean, those are trees, so they draw the nutrients from the ground, and I can also enrich the soil. So they'd be happy with that, and then they can be like citizens, and also protect the town and that kind of thing. You see where I'm going with this?
And they play. Yes. And he's
I can see what you mean. Yeah, because they could probably work a lot of the ground faster too, help clear out what we need.
And then I lean over to Sardonyx and Lotte and say, think of the things they might do with their lives.
Such a pervert. Sardonyx
looks both back and forth of the two of them, just goes back to stroking his beard.
He's like, yeah, I can think about it. And Sardonyx goes a little red, and she's like, "Oh, yes, I can imagine." Also,
just wanted to put that image in everybody's head.
Also, the sap would make great syrup, and molasses is great for pastries and other confectionaries. Yes, the possibilities are endless.
Ah, this will be so great. But if I get a little bit stronger, I may be able to start enriching the land around here. That means any crops, anything will start producing much more.
Yeah, it sounds like a great idea.
But I cannot do that yet. Still, Lord Brayton, I think accepting refugees now might be a good idea.
I would agree to that a lot more than I would have a couple weeks ago. Welcome back.
Welcome back. They want to sell some of the Moonstrides into slavery for extra income.
Only like 20 of them.
It's already done.
We just need your Herbie Hancock on the paperwork.
Do you want to run the idea by him now that he's back?
Yeah, Brayton explains that with Lee and Sodog said we wanted to clear out a section of land since the halflings are very good at farming, and they like to have them basically start their own like crop growing and stuff like that, and then find out if any of them were also good with trade and stuff, so we could try to establish some trade routes and get some more income and things going.
Not to soil that idea at all, my lord, but trade with who?
I'm sure not everybody is a pile of dicks.
Pile of dicks are ransacked.
It's food. Everybody eats food.
Everybody
I look to Lotek. You eat food?
She shakes her head.
Yeah, everyone eats food, but what's
Like-
to stop them from taking the food?
I cast edible courage and I give Lotte some edible courage. It's like a little mini bar.
She's like, well, I mean, food is good, but it's not sustenance or anything. It just we can eat.
Taste.
Yeah.
Taste.
She takes a bite.
Do you like it?
I feel more courageous, and she flutters over and slaps Sky in the face, and then flutters off.
She loves it.
Ow. I mean, that kind of tickled, but why?
Because she's not afraid to hit you now.
I turn back to Brain, but the point still stands. What neighbors do we have to trade with that aren't,
Well, we'd have to find out
That's
if
another
there are
thing.
any other ones that are still around. Plus, that city that basically declared itself its own regency, we start a food trade there with the people that might be not as very pro-rebellion, but having to live under it, establish good trade routes.
With Dussel, you mean?
Exactly.
Guess it's not Dussel anymore. It's probably something else.
The sweet elf section of, I don't know, whatever.
Sweet home Alabama.
But yeah,
Look,
those people that you want to help take care of, if we can start a trade thing with them, because we haven't made a official declaration of, yeah, we're Raleigh, screw the elves. So
Sky's eyes light up. It'll be a mission of mercy.
Toby clears his throat as you say that, reminding you that the Cedric and Theodore Rahl are still with you guys.
Yeah, he's like, I understand. He's like, we haven't made an official one, like very public, which means we might not be looked at as huge Raleian sympathizers. Opens up the possibility of those rebels giving us a chance.
This is the prime time for you to declare independence.
And give Warforged citizenship.
And get
Well,
more
on that
citizenship.
note, I think we probably should head to Ralia and head to this ball. And even if it's a trap, if it's not, we will learn things. If it is,
Then we spring the
we
trap.
can also learn things. But we can go in being prepared.
Sky looks at you as if you sprouted 3 heads.
I hold up a finger. How many fingers am I holding up?
1.
And I poke him in the forehead with that finger.
I think this is a terrible plan.
Terrible eye plan.
It's
do
not
not-
great. It's not
Think of
great,
it.
Sky, and I agree. But
Think of
the
this.
only
If we do not
go ahead.
if we do not do this, then if it isn't a trap, how does that make Stillwater look? How does that make Braden's Barony look?
It
He
looks
would
like
be
it-
seen as being abandoning Ralia.
Yeah, we'd look like we were joining the rebels and our own independent thing going on.
In Halfling, aren't we doing that anyway? I thought that was the plan.
And he just, smiles at everyone, looks back at Scott, like, well, yeah, but, we need to make sure that everybody doesn't suddenly turn on us right away, because that would kind
Still
of
in
suck.
Halfling. Who would turn on us? Our neighbors are in rebellion.
Yes, but they probably don't like us right now.
Sky. Is this place? Wait, I didn't understand any of that. Never mind.
Yeah, you didn't hear any of that.
It just
just
all
looked
sounds like a
like
bunch of squeaks.
Cheap.
Squeak, squeaking,
Squirrel,
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 Squeaker,
squirrel.
squeaker.
Squirrel.
And Braden's in Halfling's like, if we can go see what the situation looks like, we might be able to get help from anybody there. If it's too late, then we know that we have to figure stuff out on our own, but we have a plan that doesn't involve, please, capital, help us if something happens, because we know it's already a lost cause.
Sky still in Halfling. Okay. Humor me on this. If things go wrong, how are we going to escape the capital?
I cast Charm on Sky.
One, you don't know what I'm saying, and 2, what is the saving throw?
Isn't it wisdom?
Yeah. Wisdom DC 15.
Okay, I failed. I like you.
You know, not that I understand anything you're saying, but if things go really sour, I can ask very nicely. Could you just step aside and let me pass, Sky? Please?
1 second. Okay, what did you say again?
If things go sour, shit, what did I say? If things go sour, I could just ask nicely if, they can let us leave. Would you mind stepping, to your left a little bit and then pass through, Sky?
No!
You like me, do it.
I like you. I already treat you as a friendly. That's not how the spell works. I just looked it up.
Can you please take a step to the left?
This is monument. Like,
I'm
what the
asking
right
very-
mind?
I am
As
asking
Sky's walking
very-
to the left. What
I
the
step
right mind
past them.
What the right mind thinks that anybody in the capital will listen to an elf asking nicely to be let out of it.
I mean, you just did because I asked you nicely. And then I cancel the charm spell so he knows he was charmed.
It's cause we're friends.
Didn't you have any idea I just charmed you?
You know what, DM? I'm fairly certain, since we're already friends, a charm spell has no effect.
I mean, you don't treat her very friendly.
Rin. Rin.
Just saying.
Rin.
Okay, I cast command and ask them to step aside. There we go. Same effect.
Okay, she casts command on you.
My whole point is that we're capable. And we can go in being prepared.
And my whole point is, this is monumentally dumb.
What would you do, Zen?
I don't know! Sky says, throwing his arms up and just flailing.
You
Well,
have no
a
idea.
plan that doesn't seem
what you
great
don't
is
want
better
to
than no
do.
plan.
But Lord, I hate you, but you're right.
And he goes, look, we can figure out, because if it's supposed to be, if this is all a ruse to try and get rid of lordships, they still have to put on the facade of it being a ball, which means there's going to be, there's not going to obviously look like some kind of military occupation, which means we can find escape routes. We can plan, as we go in, plan ways of getting out.
Let it be known, if this turns out to be some type of convoluted ploy to have us killed, I am going to say I told you so.
And you are more than welcome to tell me that in the afterlife when we're dead.
Good. Sky crosses his arms and nods.
We're not going into this expecting it not to be a trap. We're going into it expecting, well, hoping for the best, expecting the worst.
And immediately Brayden 180s on his foot and looks towards
If we don't do this, we're looking bad.
and he looks towards Cedric and he looks towards the kid and he goes, just a second. He walks towards them to kind of walk them off. He goes, are there any quick ways out of the capital? Trying to keep a whisper. And...
I mean,
ask for plan layout.
well, I happen to have brought this city layout map with me in our flight from the capital. He unfurls a fully detailed map of. No, he doesn't have anything like that. That's silly. But in regards to your question, he kind of nods for a moment, and he's like, "The capital's a metropolitan city, so it's quite large. When Rahl was still in control of the city, there were 3 gatehouses separating the outer wards from the higher upper parts of the city. So you'd have a number of checkpoints you'd need to get through. I imagine the sewers, the way we took out, would probably be still unsecured unless somebody knew to check there."
Okay. Yeah, I figure. He goes, look, I figure best case scenario, we can find out what's going on from, what's left of the capital, if anything's happened. Worst case scenario, we confirm everything and bolt as soon as we can. Especially because we don't know if this was something that they summoned all of the region, the lords and barons and ladies and all that too. If any of them made it, if any of them are got there early and are gone. Unfortunately, as someone that used to hunt a lot before I, signed up to fight. In my younger days, the best way to disarm a trap is to spring it.
It's obvious Sky hates this, but he's going to go along with it.
Usually you do it from a safe distance, but you still have to spring the trap in order to set it off so that you can gather it.
Yeah, that's true.
I kind of pat Sky on his shoulder.
Not helping.
You're welcome to suggest any other ideas that you might have.
Braden will ask about, I guess, like the location of the sewers before he goes back to join the rest of, join the group again.
And yeah, so he's able to give you just a brief explanation of it, so it's not too hard to remember.
And as soon as Braden gets back, he goes, okay, look, Cedric, Sir Cedric there knows about a sewer system. That's how he got out. So if we can make sure that we find it when we're there, we can get an easy escape out, should things not go the way that they most likely won't.
Okay, good. We at least have an escape plan.
And he looks at Sky and he goes, think about it. If this is a trap, think of how many people you get to kill before we leave.
Think of all of
You
them.
know,
you
just
really
because I take great pleasure in fighting doesn't mean I take great pleasure in killing. There's a difference.
Okay, think of all the people you get to punch in the face for being assholes to us on the way out.
There you go.
And then he quickly speaks in halfling to Sky. And then think about it. If we show up there, do that, and leave, we're going to look like the two most badass halflings that ever existed.
Sky is fighting a smile and he fails.
And once we know everything, we can come back and formulate an actual long-term goal, because unfortunately, until we know what's going on with the capital, we're kind of shooting into the dark and hoping we hit something.
Only you would use that turn of phrase.
Well, possibly, but yeah, I'm sure. Look, she's got guns now. She could use it. He points to me.
Are you still talking in halfling?
They are.
So all she hears is a bunch of weird words, and then Braden's pointing over to Lee with a goofy smile on his face.
Sky rolls his eyes.
I lean over to Toby. What do you think they're talking about?
I reckon halfling stuff, honestly. Food, beer.
Food. More food.
Probably where to find good shoes, but never having any luck at it.
Ah, that must be terrible. Shoes are so nice.
Those
don't
are
wear
weekly
shoes.
conversations.
Yes, that's why it's funny.
We prefer flip-flops, thank you very much.
Yeah, they're Crocs types of people.
There he goes, just think about it, Sky. If you want to help those people out in Drussel, imagine the people in Raleigh if something like this has already happened there.
Okay, fine. You convinced me. He says in common.
And he just turns around. Good, alright, so we need to figure out how the hell to get to this place so that I can look decent for a ball.
Not to mention we're like 4 days behind schedule now.
Who said that?
We had 4 weeks to get there. We spent 4 days, so we've.
It takes 3 weeks to get up there.
Yep. So.
Yeah,
days.
So we'll have to haul ass. 3 days to get ready.
It's like it doesn't
3
change.
days
It doesn't change what he said. You're still 4 days behind. You wanted to be there a week early.
Didn't we have horses? What did we do with the horses?
Rode the horses back.
Yeah, you rode the horses back. But the
We fed them for
the little
sustenance.
lord and the guards didn't have horses.
Walked?
Which is why it took
Good
like
double
That's
up.
why it took a while.
There was a cart.
You are a card.
Your face is a cart.
I'll be right back. I need to go get something to drink.
Sure,
I'm still practicing the insults.
we can tell.
So I'm gonna turn, Little Lord, Sir Cedric it was?
Yes, Cedric.
I motion for them to follow, since we're all doing secret meetings.
Since we're all talking in secret code. Yeah,
And I'll just I'll gesture for him to just walk a little ways. And Toby's following.
They follow.
Toby, you mind keeping Sir Cedric company for a little bit?
Sure, I reckon that ain't a problem.
And then I'll walk like 30 feet further away. So, if I can't call you by name, what should I call you, little lord?
I don't know. I've always been partial to something like, I don't really know. It's like we just hadn't been really using a name since we were on the road.
Usually when you go incognito, you want to think of a fake name.
Yeah, I'm a little new to this.
I'm not.
It's like, yeah, you're from the State of Fate. I'm still not sure why you're here.
No. I was going to be part of an effort to solidify peace between Raleigh and the Cenobite Empire. But I got nervous and I ran away, and then shortly after everything fell to shit. I still.
Are you blaming yourself because you ran away that everything exploded?
A little bit.
Out of character, he's like, thanks, you got my family killed because you ran away, dick. He thinks for a moment and he's like, I'm partial to the name Samuel.
Alright, Samuel. I don't know if me running away was probably saved my life, but I still want there to be peace. And since you're obviously a lord, do you think that's possible?
He kind of looks at you skeptically and he's like, I didn't see what was happening, but he said elf assassins were in the castle. If you were really doing what you say you were, then I don't understand why you'd also have assassins kill my family.
I didn't have assassins kill your family.
It doesn't make sense that your people would present the olive branch with one hand while keeping a knife behind their back.
Because my people are...
Who even are you? And he kind of like looks frustrated for a moment. He's like, why are you talking like you could have done anything? Who are you? You're just a person.
And who are you?
You already know who I am. I'm nobody now.
You've never given me your real name.
I'm not supposed to.
And what makes you think that I'm supposed to? If I give you my name, will you give me yours?
Fine.
And I will promise to keep your name secret if you swear to keep mine secret.
I don't see why that's such a big deal, but absolutely, sure.
I think it's a big deal for you. And I'll give an elegant bow and then whisper. My name is Asli Jadu Melfe Ithalinda.
He kind of pauses for a moment, and he's like, That's the name of the woman, or the elf who was supposed to marry my brother. You see him actually kind of take a step back from you. He's like, you didn't arrive when you were supposed to, and instead assassins showed up.
I had heard about that.
How do you expect me to trust you with something like that?
I'm still holding out hope.
He looks like he's struggling and trying to decide whether he wants to believe anything you're saying or not, but he finally chimes in. He says, well, if it's not obvious, I'm Theodore Rahl. My brother's dead because you never showed up. And whoever had promised us peace used you as a diversion to get inside of the castle, and they're all dead now.
You watched me take 2 arrows from my own people to save your life.
You didn't know who I was. You didn't do that for me.
I did do that for you. Whether you are Thaddeus Rao or just some person, I had to help. Your people aren't the only ones divided. Mine are too. There are still many of us who want peace, even if there are still others who don't.
He shakes his head and he's like, it's so much to take in and digest. I shouldn't believe you. I should hate you. But you seem so honest about it.
Do you hate me?
I want to believe that things would have been different if you hadn't run away.
Maybe they would have. Maybe not.
I can't hate you for running away, but I can disapprove of the cowardice.
Aren't you running away too?
No, I'm not running away. Cedric got us out of the city so I wouldn't die. There's a difference.
Well, I might not be here if I hadn't. Regardless of what happened in the past, I can't change that now. And if I had any say in what happened, I would not have allowed your family to die.
Well, it can't be helped
But
now.
I think there's someone very special you're going to want to meet. At the very least, I can at least reunite you with some of your family.
He looks confused and he's like, what? What do you mean?
There's a very close friend I have who lives here. You might know him when he arrives. He's still gone right now, but he'll be back sooner than we will. He's I look up to him. He is your uncle.
He kind of blinks and he's like, you know, You know Uncle Alistair?
Well, I know him as Halivard.
Halivard. It's been 2 weeks, folks. Sorry. You know Uncle Halivard? Alistair's a mad wizard of Waterdeep. Ignore that. It's not the same man.
He is, he's very charming. I regret that he is not actually my uncle or my family, but I'd like to consider him as one.
Kind of nods, and he's like, well, we never got to see him very often, but if that's true, all right.
If nothing else, I can at least give you two a bit of more happiness that they're still at least morale and still alive.
He shakes his head and he's like, no, Uncle Halivard's not rallying. He's...
You are, and you are his family.
Yes, of course, but that's not... But yeah, semantics, it's not important.
Well, Samuel, was it?
Yeah, Samuel. That's, I think, what we settled on.
I'm going to hold out a hand and see if he takes it.
He does.
At least I can still hope. And then I will return to Toby. And remember, we share the secret now.
Yes, of course. There's nothing to worry about with something like that.
I'm gonna roll an insight check.
Okay. He was staring at your butt when you walked away.
Okay.
No, but no, he seemed honest about keeping the secrets.
Ah, good.
Meanwhile, Aaron knew.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, it's fine. I went ahead and played your character for you.
Oh. Is that why I'm so horrifically injured?
No, that was from last week.
Right. Okay.
Not last week, but the week prior.
Last game.
Yeah.
What happened?
Nothing.
What did you do?
I just had you hit on Lee.
Oh, well, yeah, that's about right.
See? I told you guys. They doubted me. They said I was doing you a disservice by doing it, and I was like, no, this is totally what his character would act like.
Let it be known that Braden never doubted that for one day.
They didn't trust me.
Nope. Yep, that's entirely accurate.
Mm-hmm. Got you a kiss, buddy.
Oh, I offered no opinion.
There's only one vocal outcry. I guess I should clarify.
Yeah, gee, I can't imagine who that was.
Mm-hmm.
So, in short, what did I miss?
Oh, everything.
Cool. Okay, in really short, what did I miss?
They decided they were going to head back to Stillwater after figuring out who the noble kid and the knights were. It hasn't been divulged, the kid's identity, outside of... I'm not sure when you jumped in, per se. But so far, only Braden and Lee know that the kid is named Theodore Rahl. He's the younger son of the king, and he was able to get smuggled out of the city during the assassin attack, and they had been staying in Dusselheim incognito for a while heading to Stillwater, hearing that it was a place still loyal to Ralia. They also learned that you all also learned that a group of half-elves had started a rebellion in Dusselheim, calling themselves Children of the Verdant, and they had overtaken the city, the capital there, and had executed Lord Dussel, and were now in control of the city and had been outfitted by the Saint of Fate to instigate this rebellion. And there was a really, really good moral and ethical debate on whether they should help the people of Dussel or help the half-elves. And I don't think we ever reached a conclusion on that, but people agreed to disagree.
Gotcha. So where are we now? We're still in Stillwater?
You guys went back to Stillwater, and you've technically just arrived.
Alright. So let's get the Nicolard and his friends situated somewhere. The keep's still being built, but
yeah. Also, that was the other thing. You guys have been gone for 4 days, 2 out, 2 back, or more or less 2 out, 2 back. And the construction had started, and basically the tent towns had started cropping up around where they're building the castle, the guard tower, and all the other various stuff. So you guys are currently without a place to stay, technically, because you had planned to be gone for the time that it would take to do all this construction. So instead, you came back a little early, and they're like, oh shit, we don't have anywhere for you to stay. And also there was discussions of getting the Moonbreeze clan to start clearing land for some farming, because basically they want to open borders for the refugees from Dussel, if people want to come in, and they're like, oh, we don't have enough food for that. We just took on 50 halflings already who are going to eat us out of our stores, because halflings eat far more than humans do. And so they're like, well, if the halflings start farming too, we'll have enough food for everybody. But it's fall, so you're still going to have a rough winter to get through, but a survivable winter. I think that's pretty much everything we had accomplished today, so thus far.
So we could
Oh, something fell. People just
actually I'll go to Sardonyx. Sardonyx.
Oh yeah.
I think it's I think Halivard's going to be a little bit happy when he arrives and sees these folks here.
And she kind of looks over to them and she's like, they look like just a bunch of nobles to me.
Yep.
Okay.
You can call him Samuel. But I think everything will become clear when Alvard arrives. I sort of made a promise not to divulge anything, but...
Okay.
Do you know if there's a place that they could stay, or should we just put some up at the end, do you think?
I don't know. Are you all staying, or...
We're going to investigate Ral.
Okay. You guys were heading up there for the ball anyways. What are you investigating?
Whether or not we have allies there, or if it's a big trap.
Oh. Okay. I mean, that makes sense.
Do you really think it makes sense?
No, it's a crazy idea. I hope you don't die.
I won't die.
That's true. You're a survivor. Not too sure about Sky, though.
He is pretty reckless. Anyway, when Alivard does return, make sure that he gets to meet this little lord here.
Okay, sure. I'll be sure to pass that along to him. Hopefully he'll,
Oh, and
yeah. And she looks at you confused.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, I was gonna say, hopefully he'll make it back soon. He was due back days ago.
At that, I kind of straighten up, and I'm casting sending to Halivard. Hello, Halivard. How are you? Are you okay? Are you safe? When will you be back to Stillwater?
No message comes back.
That's a good sign.
Do I sense that the message got to him?
Is that a thing?
I think so.
What is it, sending?
Yep.
Let's see. Boop-a-doop-a-doo. Send a short message, 25 words or less, to a creature if you're familiar. Here's the message in its mind. Recognizes you as the sender if it knows you and can answer in a like manner immediately. The spell enables creature, but you can send message across any distance. It doesn't say, really. But, yeah, the fact that you don't immediately get a response after waiting like a minute or two seems weird, because usually people are pretty quick to respond to the 25 with only 25 words. And he's a spellcaster as well, so he knows the sending spell. You two have done it before. So it's odd that you don't get a response.
Something's off. I didn't get a response.
Ah, what do you mean off? It's not like him to not answer. He's usually very prompt about it, even if he says he has to send a sending back. Send a sending back later if he's busy.
I'll keep listening. Am I able to focus and try and ascertain whether or not it actually reached him?
You can give me an Arcana check and we'll see where that goes. Ooh. Okay. So, when you kind of dig deeper into your own magical abilities and try and be like, tracing, call, you get like a magical feedback that kind of severs it after a little while. It looks like something blocked the message from getting to him.
Something's interfering with my magic. I can't reach him.
What? No, hold on. And you see her, like, do the same thing. And she's like, Halvard, you need to respond right away. We're worried about you. You are supposed to be back immediately. Where are you? Please answer. And she kind of waits and waits. And the two of you just sit there for probably a good 5 minutes, and you see her look a little distressed, and she's like, he doesn't take this long to answer.
Alright, where did he travel to?
The capital.
So that's where I'm going.
Yeah, you guys knew he was heading to the capital when he left, or when you got the message from him. He said he was at the moot in the capital.
Do you know if there was any place he was staying, or anywhere he was going, places he was going to be?
Oh, yes, absolutely. He always tells me a bit of the information. And she writes down on the parchment. She's like, yeah, he was going to be at the Bronze Dragon's kneecap, and he was going to meet an old associate of his before the moot. Cassandra Silk. He was going to go meet with her, and they were going to attend the moot together.
My ears perk up at that name. Right. I'm going to go and try to find him.
Okay. You need to be careful too. He was supposed to be back, and he didn't even send word that something was wrong.
If something's interfering with our ability to reach him, then maybe someone knows who he is. An enemy of Ra, maybe, I don't know. But I'm going to find him. I'm going to find him.
And then the camera pans over to the others, who have been really, really quiet lately.
I just came to get candy. This is really awkward.
What is everybody else doing?
Hey everyone, Little Lord here is, his name is Samuel.
Hi, Samuel.
Hi.
Also, I walk over to finger quote Samuel, and I lean over and I whisper and say, you can trust Sardonyx. She's a friend of Alabard.
Oh, okay. He kind of looks down at the gnome. He's like, surprising, but good to know. Hi. And he looks at Aranu with suspicion.
Aranu looks behind him like there's someone suspicious looking behind him.
I'm going to, okay, and then I'm going to approach everybody else. Everybody else? We, need to go. I can't reach Halivard through magic, and I'm worried about him. He was in the capital.
So you want to go to the capital?
Yes.
Or wasn't that already your plan?
Yes.
Yes.
Now,
Well, that just sounds convenient then.
it's become a little bit more urgent.
Okay. Well, if that's what you want to do.
I'm trying really hard to be productive, guys. Do any of you have any other opinion? Okay, so I think we should leave tonight and first get get Samuel and his friends bunked somewhere.
They can have Sky's room.
They can have Sky's room. Okay, so I guess we'll go get them bunked, and since everyone else is caught in a silent spell or something, I guess we're leaving tonight.
Okay, sounds good. So yeah, you guys immediately pack your stuff up, turn around, and hit the road again. The plan is to head straight there.
Yeah, there was a place along the way that I guess Sky had the thing for us to get paid by the Guild of Adventuring.
That was in Dusselheim.
Shit, that was in Dusselheim.
That was in Dusselheim.
How many days out of the way is Dusselheim?
It's along the road. So I mean, if you want to go there, you absolutely can.
We could just make a pit stop.
Yeah. See, try your luck. See what happens. Nothing bad ever happens to. Yeah.
Does anyone have any opinion, any suggestion, any thoughts, or is it just me?
Well, you have a lot better ideas than most of us, so why don't you lead the way?
I am now the group's leader.
And she has now been promoted to Lord Lee. Just transition the title over.
I am Lady Lee. Soon I will be Princess Lee, and then Queen Lee, or Empress Lee, or something.
Lee. Anyways.
Yeah. So I guess we'll stop, check in, get some money, make sure shit's not insane, and then, hurry to the capital.
Corey, are you awake?
I just realized for the past, 20 minutes, my mic was...
God damn it, Corey.
Welcome back.
Yay! This is why I've been ignored.
Yeah, it's been unusually quiet, so we weren't sure what was going on.
I was super surprised you didn't say hi to me, because normally
Red.
Corey's super yay, hi! And I was super surprised that he was, all of that was without a single comment.
Shay was able to
was
get through an entire thing without being interrupted. It was amazing.
Well, for the record, everything lined up perfectly that I was completely unaware because Sky's like, oh, this is a rescue mission now? I'm all for this.
Yep.
And then immediately after, despite none of you hearing this, Shay is just like, oh, so we're good then. Cool.
Yeah, no, we heard nothing.
That's pretty funny, honestly.
Yeah, I gotta admit, that's great.
For the record, Rez, I am slightly high as I'm taking narcotics for my recent sickliness.
Alright,
Okay.
so, I just want to double back and clarify, is this the plan then? You all are going to actually try and infiltrate Dusselheim and then make your way to Rahl?
Do we have to infiltrate, or?
I mean, you
Can
could
we go
absolutely...
around?
Well, she wants to go in because apparently you guys wanted to pick up guild money.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you can pick up guild money from any of the capitals. So, you don't have to go to Dusselheim, just Dusselheim was the closest place since Stillwater
Sky-
doesn't have a guild hall.
Sky wants to go to Dusselheim, but only to see how they're getting on.
Okay, so we'll just stop by nonchalantly.
Look, if they're abusing the...
Really
if they're,
quickly.
If,
and
if
just
people
keep
are
moving.
being abused, I'm gonna have a problem. But if they're just like, yay, we're free, let's celebrate, I'm not gonna have a problem. I figure, out of character, I figure most of the slave owners have been dealt with by now, and as I look to Rome as an example.
Wow. Okay.
Don't wow anything, that's what was going on.
So, as you guys are preparing to make your way out, you see that some of the new guards are out on the streets. Particularly, these are individuals that are draped in red coats. They carry spears. They've got hoods over their heads and masks covering, for the most part, their faces. Sardonyx also was quick to explain to Brayden that she had managed to hire out a group of mercenaries to come in and act as the guards for you guys. But they have spears and they have very rudimentary human rifles. And she's like, yeah, these are the Red Vipers. They're they chose that name because it sounds intimidating, but they're actually really nice people.
Have I heard of the Red Vipers before?
Yeah, you can give me a history check. Anybody can.
17.
Okay. I'll wait for everybody to try and roll if they want to.
14.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the Red Vipers are. It is actually just. It's kind of an in the know sort of thing. Yeah, they picked the name Red Viper because the leader, a man named Captain Duskwall, thought it sounded intimidating because he saw a red snake one day and he was like, that looks cool. But the Red Vipers also are a fairly new mercenary company. They've only been around for probably like 15 years, so they didn't get any time during the War of Reclamation, but they have done a lot of work in Rawl, mostly as caravan escorts, monster hunters, things that give them a lot of working credibility, but they're still fairly small time, and you hired out the entire company to protect Stillwater.
And the captain is Captain who?
Duskwall. The information's provided. He is Captain Duskwall, and then he has 2 lieutenants with him, Clack and Schwam. Specifically, Captain Duskwall is a human man. Lieutenant Clack is a dwarf, and Schwam is a half-orc.
Cool.
Schwam. For a second, I thought you said schwang, and I was like, por qué?
Por qué? No, it was almost shawarma, but then I was like, no, that sounds too tasty.
So at the end of, before we take our long rest on the first part of our journey, and I would like to ride fast.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of before we take our first long rest, I would like to cast another sending.
Okay. Yeah, so you guys, everybody's ready to head out, just like last time. I'll ask, now that I've put out this guard information. Okay. Because I was really happy with this picture that I found. I was like, this is nondescript enough, and it looks like they're not super evil, so it works. And it's really hard to find rifle characters that aren't like World War. So yeah. Anyways, so you guys head out and start riding. Your horses, those poor horses, are ridden hard into the night. And you probably stop and make camp at early morning on the first day, and then sleep for a little bit and keep going until the next evening, and then start into a regular routine, at which point do your sending.
So I'm sending to my father.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't really planned this out, so I'm just kind of winging it. Daddy, I miss you. I'm safe right now.
Smack. Sorry.
You know that I love you, and I kind of trail off there.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna ask, was that the end of it? Because you don't have to do the 25 words. You can send as much as you need.
And then magic spell. Just imagine I do as many ellipses as it takes to finish the word count.
Happy face, eggplant. Yeah, so that message goes out, and let's see here. Oh, that doesn't have a word count. I gotta make sure I have 25 words. No! Stupid Microsoft. Sorry, give me just a second, because I gotta type this out and make sure it's accurate. Oh, perfect. Okay, so after a while, you get the little ping in your head that a message was sent back. The voice that comes through your mind, though, isn't his, and the words that come through are, by order of Summer Empress, Anluriel Quilaliri, I can't ever pronounce that name right, communications to Saint Fate. Communications to Saint Fate, this sending has been blocked for the safety of the Empire. Long may she reign.
I think that's a good sign.
I kind of lower my head, disappointed. And then I send another sending to my sister and say the same thing.
By order of Summer Empress, L'Oreal Kirali, communications to Saint Fate. Communications to Saint Fate. I think I meant to say, because the sentence doesn't make sense anymore.
It doesn't work. Go away.
Sorry, hold on. Communications to the Saint Fate have been blocked for the safety of the Empire. Long may she reign.
And do I get the sense that this is like for everybody, or
You can give me an Arcana check.
can I suggest it pose advantage for my family?
Sure. You get the feeling that that it's very easy for somebody to scry and easily intercept magical communications. So it's not outside the realm of possibility that your sending had been blocked purposely.
Okay, so, kind of, I guess, like before going to bed, I just kind of like cry a little bit and curl up. Because I miss them.
I'd been waiting for the attempted communication to both your family and to Halivard for a while now. It's so good. I finally get to spring that.
Brutal.
I'm a bad person, I know. But I've been building it up. And I've been sitting on it. Anywho.
I mean, this would have just happened in the last couple days because I've been doom sending like crazy.
Yep. Divination is a bitch. So yeah. What's everybody else doing during this downtime period?
So we're just camping.
First, I'm letting the cat out.
Sky
Braden is off.
Sky lets a cat out from his pants that he's been keeping in there for weeks.
Braden is out getting food for everybody.
Okay.
Where did you pick this stray up?
Oh, I just kind of had it lying around somewhere. I'm really not sure. But just, like, raise the octaves. Like, 5 more levels.
The needs of the feline take precedent over all.
Guy, you have a pet cat now.
Yep. His name is Ike. Downtime. Can Sky do anything during downtime?
We're in a camp, right? Like
Yeah,
we're
you
just camping in the
just set up
forest.
a camp out on the forest roadside.
Can Sky do anything productive in downtime?
Whistle a fine ditty.
Oh, well, since we got a month, and this is something Sky's good at, quote unquote, he's gonna go hunting for some rare game. So he has some furs that he could sell.
Braden, you got a hunting companion.
Yes, the halflings on the march.
Halflings on parade. Okie dokie.
Beware, halflings on parade, hippity hoppity.
Oh, that new movie looks like dog shit.
Yeah, it does.
Movie?
The new Dumbo movie. It looks like
Oh.
shit.
It's live action.
Oh,
I mean, it just uncanny valleys because Dumbo is fully CG and it just doesn't look good because they tried to keep it the way the original Dumbo looked and it just doesn't fit.
Oh.
Toby's gonna do a carving of, gonna do a little fairy carving.
Okie dokie.
Would this be,
Wood carving.
damn.
Oh boy, bless his heart.
Scrimshaw Master.
So it looks like Lulu's fairy companion, where it's like stick figure body and
Pigs?
Yeah, but like stick figure body and then just wings, no features to it, and he's like, "Yep, here you go. Doesn't that look great?"
Bless his heart.
Smile and I lean into him.
It's just a work in progress. I was just trying to make you feel better. Sorry.
I appreciate it. I can't reach my family anymore.
Yeah. You could try sending them a letter.
God, I'm so stupid.
I wasn't trying to imply nothing like that. I just...
Yep, you're absolutely right. You're a genius. I give him one kiss and I start writing a letter.
Sky groans from the forest.
And so I have a letter written and I'll send it out when I can send it out.
Okie dokie. So, the evening comes to a close with no real incident. Come morning, you guys pack up and head out again. By the second day, you guys are on the outskirts of Dusselheim, and by now, the smoke of the city has largely died down. Once you break like the forest road and come out to the clearing properly, you can see, farmland remnants that look like they had been burned and sacked in the fighting before reaching walls of the city. And the walls themselves look like they're still holding, but there's signs of battle damage, and the road veers off. It breaks west a bit, separating the Queen's Road, so that it can reach Dusselheim, and the regular Queen's Road can continue towards the Rallian capital itself. But as you guys make your way to go check out Dusselheim, approaching closer, you can see where the main gate had been knocked in, and it still hasn't been put back up, and it looks more like a makeshift barricade has been placed out in the front, kind of like the best example I can think of is like the bulwark in Plaguelands, where it's just a pile of tipped over carts and boxes and stuff. There's an opening for people to travel to and from, but there's just two sides where they have a makeshift barricade and battlements to stop like large forces from trying to get through, and they have to funnel through this opening. Normally the banners for Dussel would be hanging overhead on the parapets there. Once again, this one here, this banner would have been hanging the red and black with the crown or the helmet heraldry, but those have been cut down, and getting closer you can kind of see that they've been like tossed into the mud and they're trampled over, and in their place a new set of banners. They look like they're freshly and crudely stitched together. Instead, they're green banners with a tree growing in the center of it to mark what you suspect is the Children of the Verdant. And sure enough, as you're closing this gap, the people standing guard at this bulwark do in fact look like half-elves. They don't wear any kind of helmets, but you can see the unnatural slope where their pointed ears had been cropped. But they look like they're just dressed in I'm trying to think of the word, like piecemeal and ramshackled together armor, various pieces like metal bits with leather and some chain. One's got chain, but it all looks very disorganized and ununiform. But the one standing out feature is they all have these matching green cloaks. But two of them are standing guard as your horses approach, and when they see a couple of halflings and Toby and for Toby in particular, they get on guard. One of them calls something out, and you can see a runner from the ramparts starts to move. But the two down on the ground, one calls out, and he's like, "Stop right there! Don't come any closer."
This guy stops and whispers as the word Weatherfree. You'd think they'd see the elves first. I mean, they tower over us.
Keep your, think of an incognito name. I kind of whisper to them. And I'll wave.
Jay, I couldn't hear you.
I said think of an incognito name.
Why?
Because Lord Weatherfree? Anyway.
Lord Weatherfree isn't a human.
Yeah, he's a halfling.
Okay, whatever. Just, you guys do you. So I'll just kind of wave and say, we are just passing through.
This road doesn't pass through to anywhere other than Dusselheim. What's your business?
We are just here to pick something up, and then we'll move along.
He kind of... The guard looks to his companion. They look at each other. They kind of converge into a two-man huddle and whisper something. And they look to Lee and Aranu, and they're like, "Just you two."
Why?
Because we said so.
He looks over at Sky because of the ears.
Can I gesture to the others? Could I bring my my bodyguards along, please?
Sky unable to control himself.
I clap my hand over his mouth.
Good call.
The main guard who's been talking up, he shakes his head and he's like, "No, humans aren't allowed inside, and
We're not humans.
humans.
I'm not human. He's human.
Humans aren't allowed inside. This is a half-elf sanctuary. Your small friends aren't welcome either. You two are fine."
All right. We'll just be a moment then. Sky, could you hand me the commendations that we need to get paid?
Sky rolls his eyes and hands you the guild commendation. He also hands you the now barony of Weatherfree town commendation, in case that helps.
All right. I will tuck those away, and then I'll kind of like meet over to Toby and say, "You'll be right back."
And he's like, "You just be careful. I don't really like the look of this place."
I don't either, but we'll just move through as quickly as possible.
All right, just don't do what you normally do, okay?
Lee. Sky says, calling out.
Yes. Okay.
If you're gonna exit through a different way to get to where we're going, please send a sending so we can meet you up there.
Of course.
Thank you. And Sky crosses his arms and presumes glaring at the guard.
Shall we?
Let's go.
Alright.
Let's make this fast.
Alright, so, with the three of you being barred from entering, Aranu and Lee head off instead, and Toby kind of rides up to you guys, and he's like, "Oh, I don't get it. I can understand me not being allowed in, but it's a little weird that we don't keep y'all out. Maybe it's because y'all ears ain't pointing you enough either."
They want their... Sky gently pats Toby on the knee. They want their... they only want their people that help them to be within the city.
Reckon that makes sense.
Us Rollians cropped their ears and enslaved them.
And it's like, I don't agree with that much myself.
I don't agree with it either, but if lords weren't in charge, I would have stopped it already. And he huffs and he crosses his arms. Slavery is wrong.
Like, such is the way of things, I suppose. But it looks like they got this a bit under control.
Braden mumbles, "I hope so, or I'll tell the damn Warforged that their haven isn't Drusson."
So cruel.
Whispers to Braden, "What if we... Since Sardonyx hates Warforged..." And he's saying this in half, since Sardonyx hates Warforged, what if we make Stillwater a half-elf sanctuary? And a Warforged sanctuary.
He whispers back in Halfling, "We could use the half-elves to get in their good graces to bring the Warforged in."
Right?
Oh, the
And
slaughter.
Right? And we can see about, finding some magic that might be able to, uncrop their ears. Because that's just fucking horrifying.
Yeah, I mean, what kind of monster would do something like that to elves? It's just terrible.
Lord Braden and I looks over at Toby.
It's like, It's like the people who broke halfling shins to make them short enough to stop being regular humans.
I like that nobody
Wow.
picked up on Braden's comment about
well, remember after the Raven Queen, he doesn't
doesn't remember.
He
That's
doesn't
why
remember
it's funny.
doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
God, that's terrible. Next thing you know, we're worrying about scalping them or something. Ugh.
Yeah, that'd make you a real monster. All right, so the two of you approach the gate, or what remains of this gate, and they stop your horses as you guys approach, and they're like, "Welcome to Dusselheim, or what's left of it." And they kind of chuckle to themselves. You can kind of get a glance inside to see how the city looks. Basically, they haven't really cleaned up the streets, because this only happened maybe 4 or 5 days ago, and probably the fighting hadn't really died down when you heard about it. So there's still, a good number of bodies in the streets, and this road goes down a main thoroughfare, and you can see. Give me a perception check. See what you can see. What your keen elven eyes see. Okay. Yeah, you guys can see down this main road. There's a number of makeshift posts that had been put up, and there's a number of masked corpses that are hung with their arms tied behind their backs, that just kind of line this main road. And with your vision, you can make out that a lot of these bodies are dressed in really fine clothes. So it's kind of safe to say they did a victory for the proletariat, put down the higher ups, and this was a commoner rebellion against their betters. And they're like, what? Yeah, welcome to Dusselheim, or what remains of it, until we decide to change the name, because I never liked Dusselheim. It's really arrogant. What exactly are you passing through here to pick up?
We are turning something in at the Adventurers Guild. The what is it? The Ebon Gauntlet?
Ebon Hand.
Ebon Hand.
And he kind of looks over to his friend, and he's like, "Tom, did the guild hall make it?" And they kind of blink at each other, and they're like, "Maybe." You're gonna want to. I mean, yeah, I can't tell you. We kind of have been posted here for the last 2 days, while command figures out what they want to do. But sorry, I forgot my manners. This is Thomas. I'm Jacob. Thank you for everything you guys did for us. You
you don't need to thank me. I'm sad it had to come to this, but at least you're not being at least you are free now. I trust you are being good to the common folk here.
Yeah, and when you say that, he's like, "Shit, I'm not sorry. I felt good doing that. I managed to get my parents out in time. We all had enough time to at least warn our families to get out of the city, but the folks who mandated this sort of thing, fuck them." He's like, we're trying to figure out a new way of handling things. There hasn't been anyone like us in charge before, so it's all kind of new.
Like a halfling in charge.
Yeah, like a halfling in charge. Our leader, Gail, is the one trying to figure everything out right now. So she's pretty great, though.
Well, it's good to hear that there's peace back. Everyone's all the common folk you're all taken care of, right?
As good as we can be. The fighting's done a lot of damage to the storehouses and our food supplies, but I mean, you guys were supposed to be sending us some stuff to help get us back on our feet so we could declare independence from Rawl soon.
If that doesn't happen, you might have friends nearby.
Nearby? What?
You know, just keep it in mind. There's a lot of everything throughout everywhere is really weird right now.
And he kind of pauses and he glances over your shoulder towards the two halflings. He's like, "Shit, did the halflings figure out how to rise up too?"
Something like that.
God, I hope not.
It's like, well, small world, I suppose. Next, you'll be saying that the turtles are gonna invade. And his friend,
you didn't hear?
His friend is like, huh, that'd be something. Oh man, could you imagine if a bunch of like dragon worshipping turtles started to invade the blaze? That'd be awful.
They would be a little hard to hit. They got some hard shells.
Yeah.
What? None of you have heard about the Turtle Rebellion?
He kind of looks at you and he's like, "The what? Give me a deception.
Oh yeah.
Give me a deception. I want to hear about the Turtle Rebellion."
Nope.
Hold on. He's got to check against you. Guard. Yard. What is your stat? Ooh, it's a 0. Okay. So.
Damn it.
Oh.
I saw the 6.
Yeah, I saw the 6 too, and I was like, oh, he might buy it. And he's like, as far as I know, turtles, you just kind of tip them over onto their back and they're done.
All right, there, Deuces. He's
No.
not easily
I heard that they have a really hard time with giant strawberries.
Yeah, he beat me to it. I was gonna say Thomas nudges his friend. He's like, yeah, if we just load the artillery with giant strawberries, they'll just eat themselves to death. But he kind of looks at you and he's like, ah. he's amused by you making the same joke. He's like, yeah, she gets it. It's like, I told you these two were all right.
Oh, where's the adventuring guild?
They're like, if it's still standing, it's gonna go down. Just go down the main road there. It's gonna be in the market square. It used to be a big 3-story building. You wouldn't miss it if it's there. And sorry if it's not.
I appreciate it, Thomas and
Jacob.
Pleasure to meet you both.
Ah, nice.
I'm Godly.
Sorry?
You may call me Lee.
Oh, okay, Lee. Well, if you're staying for a while, he kind of wiggles his eyebrows.
Well, it's been very busy.
Thomas wiggles his eyebrows at Aaron.
Sky makes a perception check.
Dude, we're like inside the town.
They looked at me!
No,
they can see me!
I said Aaron. Oh, that was like a while ago, man.
Oh, they kept walking? Okay.
That was a while ago. You missed that chance.
Because if they were doing that and they were still in rage, I would have nudged Toby, and it's just like, you're trying to take your woman.
I'm sorry, Thomas and what?
Oh, Thomas wiggled his eyebrows at Aaron.
And who was the other one?
What?
I keep forgetting their name.
Oh, Jacob. They have very human names for half-elves.
Got it.
Because they live in human lands.
They're half human.
Yeah, it's like they are half. Yeah, and basically that's the thing too, guys. They are half human because up until just recently, the Saint Fate wanted nothing to do with half-elves.
Pretty sure they still want nothing to do with half-elves. They just destabilize the region so that way they can take it over later.
Yeah.
But that's out of character speech.
Yeah, that totally could be absolutely what's happening, and it's
and
not.
That's exactly why Lee planted the thought in their head that they might have friends nearby.
Got friends on the other side. Bon samedi dance. Sorry. Yeah, so the two of them are shamelessly flirting with the two elves, and they're like, "Yeah, so if you get what you need to do done, we're going on break in a little while." Wiggle, wiggle.
All right. So I guess we'll make our way to the Ebon Hand
Make your way to the guild hall.
Guild Hall.
Yeah, all you did was work for the Ebon Hand, which is a night order.
Guild Hall.
All right, both of you give me a con save.
Oh, those are always for good reasons.
Now that you're here, I have a potion to give you, but you're also not here.
But you're not here. Okay, yeah. The smell is awful because you are basically just walking down an Execution Row street, and between the smell of these hung nobles and the very prevalent smell of burnt flesh in some of these destroyed buildings, this road stinks. And the half-elves who are occupying the place are probably used to it by now, but you guys just walked in from fresh air, out there into this place, and it almost makes you gag, Lee, but you manage to keep it down as you guys are making your way down. And
I'm like prestidigitationing a path as I walk.
yeah, it's just in front of you. It's hovering over your nose. And it's just constantly air freshening. So let's see if the guild hall is still standing. We will roll high. Nope. Yeah, so as you guys make your way to this market square, it is a scene of devastation. You can see that the cleanup effort has largely started here, and they plan to work their way out. So there are people, mostly some humans, who are dragging these corpses of the dead under supervision towards carts, and they're loading them up, and they're carrying them basically to piles to burn, because it's just the easiest way to handle that. But there's a number of collapsed buildings or ransacked stuff, and there's just trash and debris and splatters of blood everywhere. But they're making an effort to try and clean it up now that the battle's over. The guild hall itself, 3-story building, the sign is hanging still on one of the 2 chains that would support it, and it clearly marks it as the guild hall, but the 3rd floor looks like it had collapsed in on itself, and much of the ground floor has been burnt out, and it looks like it's on a very shady foundation and not a safe place to enter.
Well, I don't think anyone's working here today.
You want to give me another perception check, though, real quick?
Shit.
Ooh. Aaron it. Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so as you guys are looking at it, you completely walk by a number of signs that have been posted up on a couple of these shops. The contents of them will forever remain a mystery to you. What was your question?
I was going to ask if any of the outfits I've seen along this way, or if any of the faces, if I see any.
You cannot see faces. All of the hung, all of the executed people have burlap sacks over their faces, so they can't be seen, or so their identities are concealed. They're basically they're noosed, and their arms are behind their backs. So they basically, if their necks didn't break, they were strangled, and they couldn't do anything about it.
I was going to ask if like any of the outfits matched any of that Stanley Baldwin.
Ooh, you want to give me give me another perception check, and I'll let you do it at advantage. No, he was a human.
No, he's a human.
He was a very well-dressed.
God.
Wow, Shay. No, you don't. you're like green outfit, and he had shoes, and you're trying to find this, and it's just all wrong. You can't find anything that matches what you recall he had looked like, and since you can't see a face either, you're like, well, this could be him, but you remember that he was based out of Dussel.
Am I able to take 10? If not, that's fine.
If you want to take a little bit longer to like slow down and look at all of them, sure.
I'm kind of curious, so yeah.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Towards the center of or towards the side that connects to the town square, there's a body that kind of fits his description, and has that same red coat that he had worn to your guys' adventurers interview. You can make out the outfit, and there's a guild badge that's emblazoned on it. And if it's not him, they certainly executed a guild member. But you also recall that he was a knight and somebody who was loyal to House Rawls, so it's very likely that he might have even taken up arms when things went bad. So, rest in peace, Stanwyck Baldwin.
No.
He was a dick.
I know, but he was our paycheck.
That's
He
true.
He was. I'm surprised Sky doesn't have some kind of respect for him after he just
Guy's
tore
not
apart-
here. That
Uh,
was Corey.
This guy is
Yeah.
here.
I'm surprised Corey doesn't have some kind of respect for him after he tore up an eldritch horror.
He was a dick.
He meant well.
Doesn't seem like we're getting any of that money that they owe you.
Not here. We'll have to stop at another place. Nope. Sorry, Stanwyck, if that is you.
That is your
Doesn't-
real name.
If that's who you really are.
So I guess we will leave.
Alright.
I'm gonna leave.
Aranu, is there anything you might have wanted to do in Dusselheim?
Well, as much as I'm sure the viewers wanted to see half elf and half elf on elf action,
I mean, they might have. You don't know.
I mean, maybe. No, he'll leave and just kind of be. He's mostly been acting as kind of a bodyguard and.
Sky, who are you
Toby's
messaging? Because
place.
I'm only seeing half of this conversation, and it's amusing me.
Oh, Lord Braden Weatherfree. I have to type in Ward first in order to talk to him.
Why am I not seeing any of these messages? I'm only getting half of them.
Because he might be that he's whispering out of character.
Well, that one was out of character. The rest weren't.
They're all saying they're from Sky, but they're your portrait, not the token portrait.
Yeah, you gotta whisper as your character. To the character.
Oh, so I'm seeing Nitwu type to Lord.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm missing the conversation. Yeah, I'm like chat's gonna be so confused by these whispers. I see all, except for what you out of character whisper to each other. Which shame on you.
They're busy. We're doing this, so
I know. I was just pointing out how funny it was because I'm only seeing half of it, and then a meme. It's pretty realistic.
So I actually, now that I think about it, because we're in a town full of basically corpses. So Aranu actually has a pet raven that he's had ever since he's come back from the Raven Queen's realm.
Yep.
And I imagine at this point it's probably poking at some of the bodies.
Oh, fun.
But so Aranu will go over and kind of collect his raven and be like, "Oh, come on, no, that's just gross."
Yeah. So as you go to collect it, Lee, you look over to it. It's got an eyeball in its mouth, and it kind of chomps that down real quick, and then it goes, "Plan!" And then it flies off and lands on Erinu's shoulder.
Ow! 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 That hurt, Ren.
What?
That hurt.
Is something wrong?
Watch the Friday game.
Oh, okay. And Raven pets his Raven, kind of like scritching him underneath his chin area.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's such a sad game. Poor Flynn.
All right, so we are back now, and yeah. So you guys, they've been gone for about an hour. Is there anything the two of you are doing during that time?
Chatting with the guards because they're gone for an hour. So, really hate halflings, huh?
Good conversation opener.
Yeah, the guard kind of looks.
This guy's the best.
The guard kind of looks at you, and he's like, "Aren't you a little short to be so judgmental?
You're the one not letting us in the city.
Why does that automatically equate to racism?"
I don't know. You're barring a certain race from entering the city. I would call that racism, wouldn't you? Cross his arms and squints.
The guard who hasn't given you his name since you don't know it, he kind of laughs a bit, and he's like, "Wow, I didn't realize that pretentiousness came with being a halfling." He looks over to Braden. He's like, "You feel this way too? Because we told your human friend he wasn't allowed in either. I don't think that's segregation. It's
He's
more
understandable."
and both of them are amused, getting a rise out of you, and they're like,
Brayden just looks over at Sky and goes, it's a look. He would probably understand it a little bit better, but it's really hard to breathe when your oxygen level's so low from your nose being pointed up so high.
well, that explains it.
I turn and look at Braden and just give him a finger.
The guard goes, "Well, hold on. Maybe if I do it really slowly. Sir, with respect, we're currently declaring our independence and occupying this place from Rawl. Last I checked, the two of you and your human friend are still Rawlian citizens. Am
Great,
I
wonderful.
correct?"
I completely cut him off. Great, wonderful. I don't care. My friend is in there, and I'm worried about her.
Well, she's Xenophae. She can take care of herself.
I don't care what she is.
Also,
She's my
her friend looks more than capable of taking care of things. And for the record, he emphasizes this by putting the point of his spear down into the ground and leaning a little closer. You don't get to decide what happens in this city. You can protest it as much as you want. I can even bring Gale out here if you want to bring it to her attention, but it's not going to change anything.
Well, let me tell you something, mister. If anything happens to my friend, I will butcher every last one of you.
And the two of them look at each other, and they're like...
I will roll an intimidation check.
They were like, well, you know...
21!
Yeah, and they look at each other, and they're like, yeah, okay, we take that really seriously. And he kind of, like, whistles, and then 4 guards who had been posted up on the walls on each side pop over, and they've got crossbows trained on you. And he's like, yeah, you'll probably, get through us because you're already here. But there's a lot of us, and I'm sure we could do a good amount of damage before you make any real headway.
Sky crosses his arms. You have no idea what I am capable of. Squint.
Well...
And poor Lord Braden is probably over there flailing, going, oh god, how do I de-escalate this?
He's just sitting there quietly, looking back and forth between the two of them.
Yeah.
Back and forth, and he's looking at the elves, and looking at he's on Sky.
Not just that, but the 2 guards again are immediately back, and they're like, well, sir, I know that you need to stand on a pedestal in order to have a conversation with us, but while you're on it, try and think about the things that actual people who go through actual racism have to deal with, and he kind of runs a hand over his ear, and he's like, you have to think about what we actually went through before you start slinging out the racist card.
Braden puts his hand up the sky. Braden starts raising his hand. Guys, it's okay. It's okay. It's really hard to hear when your ears have been cut off, so let me explain this in a language you might understand.
Toby,
out of character.
Wow. Poor Toby.
Whoa.
Toby's like, I'm gonna be over here.
yeah.
He's like, look, halflings, check your privilege and go wait for your friends.
And he looks over the sky, and in halfling, this is going to make the best fucking Warforged refuge I have ever seen.
Right? Says the halfling.
It's like the hipster white kids trying to say, yeah, they're down for the civil rights movement to a bunch of black people. Love it.
That is not what we're saying.
That is so what you're saying. It's so funny.
I'm enjoying it. Anyways, no, like I feel for what the halfling stance is too, but it's just comedic to me.
These people literally had their bodies maimed because they were half heritage.
Tell us about the halfling struggle, my dude.
Yes, and if they think they can suddenly mistreat us as if we are not equal to them,
that's
they
not
have
what
another
they're
thing
saying.
coming.
That's not what they were saying at all. They want to keep you out because there's a transition going on in the city. They don't want, nobody's threatening anybody.
Rez, have a DM inspiration for understanding that.
I can't even understand, Corey, I have to believe that this is because you're on medication right now. I cannot believe that you are genuinely believing this.
Anyways,
you may not be wrong.
I think this is a good point for the two of you to come back during this escalation. Yeah, you can see Jacob having a shouting match with Sky.
So how's
And as soon as the two of you come back, you see them like immediately straighten up, and they're like, oh, you guys are back, great. Your friends here were really worried about you, and he like signals really quick, and the guards who are up on the walls immediately duck back down, and they were really worried about you, so they were inquiring, and I was just trying to tell your friend here that everything would be fine and you wouldn't be harmed. Nothing.
He's lying.
He pauses, and he's like, were you able to find the guild hall?
I mean, yes, in a matter of words.
What was left of it?
He frowns, and he's like, I'm sincerely, I apologize for that. I told you there was a chance it might have been standing.
It's okay. It's to be expected. It was an intense week for y'all. Shit, I'm talking like Toby now.
For y'all. He's rubbing off on you in more ways than one.
Moving on.
So
we can't air this Sunday episode.
Don't worry about it. Sorry if any of my companions got a little loud. They tend to do that.
Hey! Don't lump Lord Braden into this. It's me that gets loud. If we were having a constructive, potentially violent argument.
Right. Okay.
Toby's like, yeah, for the record, we stayed over here.
Yeah, I imagine there's like 30 feet of space between Sky and the rest of the party.
Okay. But everything's fine. Just means we have to stop somewhere else to do our trade in. But thank you for allowing us the chance to enter your city. I hope things work out well for you.
Oh, yes. And please have a safe journey, and if you are able to deliver a message to your people back on the other side, let them know that we eagerly await any more support or anything that they might require. We'd be happy to help as best we can.
I'll keep an eye out for any of my people. Magical communication has been a little bit harder as of late.
And he's like, that's strange. Gel said she had been in communication. Why am I telling you this? Have a nice day.
He said Gail.
Oh, he said it several times.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. And I'll kind of give like a courteous bow and move on.
And then Sky says super sarcastically, well, hopefully in the next time we pass through here, you'll let everyone back into the city.
And as he's saying that, I kind of like grab the back of his collar and pull him along.
Fucking assholes. Is dragged.
They turn to leave. Braden looks over at him and then halfling. I'll teach you how to call him a cocksucker in Elvish.
Sky begins giggling.
I mean, one of them probably is. He was flirting with Darinu.
Lee, I am insulted that you would assume that.
Yeah, doesn't everybody flirt with Darinu?
Everybody flirts with me.
Only one, that's really lowballing it.
Anyway.
Back on the road then?
Yes.
Alrighty. Y'all continue traveling.
I apologize for my medicated-fueled rage.
It was
That's alright. It was
freaking hilarious.
It was great.
In other news, I would just like to point out my flaw is I have zero ability to hide my emotions.
No, he has no filter. It's true.
No filter.
How are you feeling right now, Corey? We're at a 3-hour mark, and
I think now
I know you do, but I know he's not feeling well, and he's heavily medicated.
If I can weigh in, I also got a doctor's appointment tomorrow.
Okay.
As much as I hate to stop, because
Here's the thing.
I
know I'm not well, but the medication is so damn good that I'm good to go for a while.
Okay, but considering that and Brez needs to go, let's wrap this one up early this week. And
I don't know if 3 hours is early, but okay.
Usually we go 4.
I'm sorry, Shay.
I know, yeah. We'll figure something else out, Shay, to kind of pad this out. But why was it not recording? It didn't start recording today. Oh well.
Oh well, it's on Twitch.
Yeah, I can download it from Twitch. It's just gonna have the full video instead of when we started, so they'll get to hear all your masturbation talk.
All right, fantastic.
Fantastic content, family friendly. So yeah, people who are watching, hey, thanks for hanging out with us, and you can catch next episode will be. Shay, did we decide on doing yours early? I think that's still up in the air.
Yeah, we haven't set a time, but I'm thinking since he needs to get home and get settled, we'll probably do it. I guess 5:30ish.
All right. Yeah. So
5:30 when? Thursday?
Friday.
Friday. Okay.
Yeah. So we'll do it. We'll do an early game. We'll do an early game of hers before Curse of Strahd. So yeah, we will do a double feature on Friday then, if everything works out. So just come and hang out with us then. We'll be doing Shay's game and Curse of Strahd. So we'll have something nice before she goes back into the crying and feels. Thanks for watching, guys.
Man, all those feels.
Bye, stream.
Day.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.